let's take a look at Bondaweb. One of my favourite things to use. There are lots of other makes out there. This is by Vislin, Steamer Seam, various things, but this is the one I use. Basically what you want is something that is gluey on one side and papery on the other side. This is the glue. So what we're then able to do with this product is draw and cut our shapes and then iron them on, ready for us to applique. It's one of the easiest ways to do applique. And as you can see, look, I've got all these ready to go. So I just wanted to show you, any templates will do. That's the nice thing about it. But I'm looking at this one, the one of the borders for this quilt here. So these are the shapes that I want to do here, these Morning Glory flowers. Now I'm going to do them all the same colour, and because I'm doing them all the same colour and all the same fabric, I'm going to draw as many as I need. So I'm going to need 2, 3 each side of my border. I'm going to need 6 in total. So I'm trying to be as frugal as possible with this product. So on the papery side, not the rough side, I can actually just draw my shapes. It's nice and easy. And because I want to do 6, I'm going to draw all 6, and I'm going to draw them not touching, but nice and close together, because I don't want to waste any of this product, and I also don't want to waste any of my fabric. So like I say, not quite touching. The beauty of this stuff, to be honest, is that it allows you to get a really crisp shape. It also means it's not going to be moving around while you're stitching it, so you can sort yourself out. I think it's Steamer Seam that is, there's one of them that's repositional. I don't use that, mainly on the grounds that it's harder for me to actually get hold of. And I love this stuff. I love Bondaweb. I don't like the ones where it's too sticky, because I feel like that then just messes with your needle and then potentially your machine. Some of them can make it really stiff because they've got a lot of glue going on. So, like I say, I'm going to continue on until I've got all 6 of my flowers drawn, and then move on. So I've got all 6 flowers drawn on here, and then I'm going to cut around and just leave, it's almost like leaving a seam allowance really, because even this little narrow bit here, I've got a jar where I just keep all of my bits and pieces like this for when I just want, because look, if you look on here, for example, I'll be able to get those 3 leaves out of this bit. As I say, I'm really frugal when it comes to this stuff. So I've now got all 6, and they're all going to be the same colour. So I can now look at the fabric that I'm going to use for them. I'm looking through, and I think I'm going to go with this one. Morning Glory traditionally is a sort of blue flower, isn't it? There's no blue in this quilt at all, but I'm going to go with the pale blue on there for my actual stitching. But that is something else. So let me have a look. So I'm looking, I want the back, the wrong side of my fabric. Okay, this is the rough side, this is the wrong side. So I always say to my classes, a bit of rough is often wrong. Okay, remember that phrase. It might stand you in good stead in life as well as in applique. And then you can iron it down, but always make sure the rough side is the side that is going down. If you haven't done this before and you're at all unsure, use something like baking parchment. I use that especially when I'm on very small pieces as well, because that way, if you have by any horrendous chance got it wrong, it will stick to the paper, not to your iron. But make sure that you can see it sort of change colour as the glue melts. And then once we've done that, we can trim it up. I normally get all of this stuff sort of prepped and ready, and then I'll spend, especially on a big project like I'm doing here with this quilt where there's lots of pieces to cut, I'll actually do all of this part of the process first, and then I'll just sit in front of the telly and cut all these out. So that's my flowers. So the next part of the process is to actually cut now right up to the lines so that you can get a really nice sharp edge. As I say, one of the easiest forms of applique, and these sort of simplistic, if you go with a fairly simplistic shape, I mean, the templates that I've put in this quilt pattern are really usable for all sorts of projects. But also maybe take a look through children's colouring books, are a really good source for quite simple shapes that work really well for applique. And then I'm just going to cut these bits out. So I'm ready to go. Now I've still got the paper on the back here. So for the next part, we need to get rid of that paper to get back to the sticky part. And to do that, score it with a pin or scissors and then just wriggle it. And that just lifts the paper away, and you can then just peel it off. Okay. And on the back here, this should feel slightly rubbery because that is the glue which, when we re-iron, is going to stick everything down. So I'm going to cut a few more of these and then show you how I kind of measure up and lay things out for the next part. So I've now got all my shapes cut out, and I need to get to the point where I've got no papers, and then I can start laying them out, putting them onto my fabric wherever it needs to be. Now with this particular project I've got here, this quilt, this is one of the borders that I'm doing. So this is the design, and it's a repeating design, so I can do it as long as I like. I've measured out my border fabric, and I'm going to be working from the center. I've got a fold here which is going to give me my center point, so these are going that way, and then I will flip it around to go the other way on the other side of my border. Sometimes you don't necessarily have a specific design, and you can just eyeball where you're going to put things, see what you like, what you don't like. Because this is obviously quite narrow, I am going to use the guide for this. So I'm just going to get enough of these done. Peel off these papers. This is quite funny because they are almost magnetic. Once you take them off, look, they stick, so you'll end up with lots of bits of paper sticking to you and all over your sewing table probably. and to your jumper. I've already got enough threads and goodness knows what. I have certain jumpers that I wear when I sew because they almost act like lint rollers, and will just collect all the threads for me before I walk back out into the rest of the house. It's normally a point of much discussion with my other half about the threads that can be found all over the house. I don't know, I try my best, but you know. See, look, that one didn't want to come off. Right, so I've got my bits ready. Now, the ones I need to be careful of are these green ones. It's really obvious on this one which is the right and the wrong side. This, less so. So I need to make sure I feel it and I can feel that rubbery, gluey side, and that is the one that is going to go down. Okay, so just a word of warning there. So this is my line, and I'm going to tuck this under. If you can't see it terribly well, you might have a light box. Some people use light boxes for this. Good old-fashioned way is sometimes to just hold it up to the window, to be honest. But if a border is not, this fabric obviously is quite light, so I can see through it. If it's a darker border, then just think about how you're going to lay it out. Often I will just wing that. Right, so I can follow my design, and I want to make sure that I'm coming in here, so I'm going to move it very slightly. So like I say, yeah, rubbery side is there, rubbery side is that one, because I want at least 1/2 inch on this because I'm doing a quilt as you go design. And then coming up the other end, what I'm going to do is like I say, I could use that one, so it's more or less going to go like that. So I can scoot it along, and then I'll know where that's going to go. Okay, there we go. I'll just move those along a bit. Like I say, I can more or less eyeball that actually. If you don't feel confident, then use the guide. And because these are slightly smaller, I now want to iron them down. So I'm going to use my baking paper just as a kind of safety measure. And that is exactly why, because look, it was the wrong side. But you see, that's why you do it. Because otherwise that would have been on my iron. Or you can end up with it on your ironing board cover. I had that for years. That was a salutary tale. I had a rabbit, a little bunny, on my ironing board cover for years, just as a kind of a warning, shall we say. But like I say, I'm just holding that in place long enough for that. And then there you go. They're stuck down. It's still hot, so I'm not going to do that line yet until it's worn off, but they're now ready to go away and sew.